Hello everybody, so today I wanted to do a video comparison about bricks. I think I created a video about bricks previously, and the new coming, well, still new in certain way, Zioin Builder. It's on AppSumo currently, by the way, and it has been released before bricks, so more than a year ago, but hasn't gained too much momentum, let's say it like that, so far. But maybe we'll start to gain some with this AppSumo deal. I want to compare them, not the features side by side. Maybe I'll do that later, all the comparison feature. But right now I want to do more, like I always do, a video about, a landing page that I'm going to build. This landing page, the one that I'm always building with all the, if you've seen a video previously from me, I'm always using that landing page to show you how each page builder work and compare them, speed and so on. And I'm gonna rebuild that using both Zioin and bricks side by side. So it's not gonna be a short video, I'm gonna tell you that. And I'm not completely used to them. They have a lot of updates also often. So might be stuck some places from time to time. So please forgive me about that. But if you want to follow, then this is what you can do. And of course, you can always speed the video up if you want to be faster. So first, bricks. There was an update just a few hours ago, just before I started recording. It was updated to 1.3.1. So it's really constantly maintained. So it's a good thing. I've corrected a lot of bugs. It's $149, by the way, for a lifetime, unlimited lifetime deal right now. So if you want to jump on that, that's pretty cool. First thing, bricks is a theme, not a plugin. So you don't have to have a separate theme with it, as most page builder do. So it's a theme that includes a page builder. So that can be a huge difference for some people. For me, it's not that big of an issue because right now, and that's one of the reasons they did it that way, they don't want to have to answer the question, which theme should I use with my builder? They provide a builder, that the builder is, the theme, sorry, is the builder. So that's how they want to go. It does support Gutenberg, by the way, so if you want to switch to blocks or from blocks, it supports that. So I have a child theme installed. I have my bricks 1.3.1, which is the latest version, latest stable version as of today. And I only have one other plugin installed, which is Reset, WP Reset Pro, that I use to reset my site, but it's not activated anyway. So only have that. On the Zioin side, I also have that plugin that is disabled. So Zioin Builder is a plugin, so I will need to have, of course, a theme that goes with it. And you require to have the free version even if you want to install the pro version, just like Elementor and other builders. Zioin Builder Pro is on AppSumo right now, by the way, in the marketplace, not in the regular one, regular store, let's say it like that. And they decreased the price to $99 for unlimited lifetime license. So still worth a look. I've seen many bugs, to be quite honest, working with it, but they are improving it. And when I started, it was 2.4 a couple of weeks ago. Now it's 2.6.1, and they also have 2.7.0 in beta version. So I didn't install the beta, but looks like since the AppSumo deal, they have improved it a lot. They are working on it a lot, which was not really the case, honestly, from what I saw previously. But now they are correcting bugs, so that's a good thing. So we'll see them both side by side, and of course you can decide which one you want in your case. So I have on my media, whoops, I have reset this one here, so I will have to upload my media on that one. This one is alright. That one has an issue, so let me just upload my image and come back. Alright, so my images are uploaded, so let's start first of all with the bricks theme. So like I said, it's a theme, so I don't have any other theme installed. So let's start right away with that one. We have a getting started place here. We can build templates, and we can do that with both builder, let's say it like that. I'm gonna call them builder. The other one is a theme. But we won't need one for this one because that's going to be just one landing page. I'm going to use the overall page template. So settings here, leave it just for pages. As you can see here, like I said, you can save the data as Gutenberg data. So that way, if you ever remove or change the theme, then you can still get the content, not the layout, but the content will still be there as Gutenberg blocks. So that's a good thing, but you don't have to enable that right from the start, by the way. As long as you reopen and save the page before switching the theme, you can do that later if you want to. And the opposite is also true. If you already have some content that was made in Gutenberg, you can keep it and load that into Bricks. Builder access, if you want to restrict access to some people, some user roles. Template, I don't have any in my case. Builder, nothing special here. I'm using the dark mode, so I think it was not by default, but that's about it. Language, you can change the language as well. I'm using English in my case. Performance, I have activated everything to disable emojis, embeds, jQuery migrate, and lazy loading to simply speed up the loading of the site. These are things that usually you don't need, so that's a good thing that it provides that, by the way. My API key, nothing there, and if you need some special code, you can put it there as well. I don't need any of those in my case. You have the custom fonts, so all the regular fonts, all the Google fonts also will be loaded. No problem with Google fonts. But if you want to have more than these fonts, personal fonts or Adobe Typekit fonts or other, then you can load them here. Which is a good thing, by the way, because of course it doesn't load everything. You have sidebar here if you want to register a new sidebar, which we won't need. System information right there. And of course your license. So nothing special here, and I won't build a template. I'm going to go directly into the pages, and I'm going to create a new page. That will be my landing page, and I'm going to save that or publish it. And I'm going to switch to edit with Bricks. So this is the new Bricks structure. I think the structure is always open by default with newer version, but maybe not. I've played with it, of course, before doing that video, so maybe you need to open that manually as well. And you have a little bit like Elementor, the widgets panel on the left side. Now what's special here is the over styles are there, not in the panel itself. When you want to do something with the over for button, for example, or link, things like that. You have the help here. You have all the pages. So you don't have to go back to the WordPress dashboard to be able to create new pages. You can do that right from here. And like as you see here, I'm editing the landing page, but you can create other pages as well here. And you can switch from page to post, for example, if you need to, or any other custom post type right from there, and you can create a new one. Revision here, so you have kind of a history of everything you've done. You can go revert back to the previous version with the revision tab or history tab here. And these are the settings, so I'm going to come back to that a little bit later on. And if you want to go back to the elements. So let's go to my settings. I have my theme styles here. I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm going to get rid of all of them. Sorry, okay, it doesn't delete it. Just ask me which one that I want to use by default. I'm going to use my landing one, but I want to get rid of some of them. Yeah, here we go. This is how I'm going to get rid. So I'm going to delete them and resume the video after. Alright, so sorry, that was because I played with it before. So usually when you start, you have a demo custom styles, and you have other, the default one and some others. What I suggest you do is simply create a new one, or you can of course modify the demo one if you want to. but I'm gonna create a new one in my case. Click create. And these are all the styles. These are global styles, not for just that page, but for the overall site. So that's cool. This is where you're gonna style your things. So let me come here and modify a few things. First of all, the conditions. I don't need any in this particular case. But if you want to create a template and set some conditions for it, this is where you would do that. Let's go with general. The site layout is going to be wide. We have box all wide. So I'm going to use the wide one. Container width, I'm going to go with 1200 pixels. You can have the margin if you want to, the element margin and the root container margin. I'm going to leave it like that for now. Colors, I'm going to set all my colors. So my primary colors here will be 32, 32, 33. I'm going to set that in the color palette. So again, I'm going to change my color palettes here. So from memory, when you start, you have the default and you have the demo one. And again, I suggest that you create your own. The problem with that is that it seems to always go back to the default or the previous one from time to time. So you will have probably to switch to the one that you want. But anyway, let's create a new one with, I'm going to call that landing. Create it. And that will be available for all my pages throughout my site. So I need simply to add a color to it. So I've created my color here and I can just save that to my palette. So that makes it a global color. And then of course later on, if I want to change that color, it's gonna simply change it everywhere I've used that color. So my secondary color, I'm gonna do the same thing here. Again, I'm gonna switch to my landing panel. And I'm going to put that, it's going to be E4AD22. And I'm going to add that to my color palette. I'm going to do that for light and dark color. So you have predefined colors here. You can add your own color if you want to. So I'm not going to change the other ones, but I'm still going to use that just to add them to my panel. I don't know what's that panel here. Strange panel name. I don't know why this is the first time that I see that, but anyway, let's switch to my landing panel and I'm gonna add the other just for the so my text AC here 50B3 and I'm gonna add that to my panel as well by clicking save. And I'm going to put my accent is the same color as the one that I previously used. This was my accent color, sorry. What are the other colors? And this one I have it. Okay, F6, F6, F6. Really like gray. I have CCC. So a little darker, medium gray, and I have a dark gray 2A, 2A, 2B, which is a dark gray, and I'm gonna add that as well. And since we're often using black and white, I'm gonna add white and black as well to my panel. Sorry, looks like my mouse is playing tricks on me. So here we go. Alright, so in this particular case I can say clear because I don't want to have any color. And all my colors are set. Now let's change the other section, which is the content. Nothing special here. I have already set that. Typography on links. So I'm gonna change those here. So my text color is gonna be my 32, 32, 33. Color, the font size, let me set default font will be Railway. Looks like I forgot to set a font size here. Try to do that later, but anyway, let's go with the family right away, which is Railway. The font weight will be normal for the regular text. Let's see. Most of the text is going to be 18 pixel, but not always. So, but I'm going to still put that 18 pixels for now, since most of the text will be like that. All headings, so if you want something for all the headings, then you have the headings 1 through 6. And you have some extra as well, hero and lead, that you can customize if you wanted to. So in my case, all the headings I think are gonna be sorry. Oops. You must not click on more than one at once. Okay, so let's forget the text color, but all of them will have the text transform to be uppercase. I'm gonna put that there. The heading 1, and we have just one, so let's put it white. So it's going to be done. It's going to be 36 pixel, already uppercase, of course, and that's okay. Heading 2, they're going to be different from time to time, so I'm going to leave it like that for the color, but let's put 18 as the size. And of course, it's already uppercase. And I'm going to leave the rest like that for now, links and so on. And every element, you can style them right from there as well. For example, if I wanted to style my button, I only have one, so I won't do it. But you could do it here if you wanted to. So that's my global styling, global colors and so on. So I'll leave it like that for now. And I'm going to go back to my, well, I could set the global color for the background, but I won't do that. So let's go back to my panel here. I'm going to save my page right there, just to go to the Zioin Builder to do the same thing. Now, Zioin Builder, being based on the theme, what are the options here? So for the settings, we have the allow post type, that's okay. Maintenance mode is disabled. We have font options, but this one doesn't load Google Fonts by default. So in our case, we are using a Google font, which is Railway. We need to do that from here. So let's do that, Railway. If you don't do that, click on plus. If you don't do that, it's not going to appear in your drop down when you select a font. You can have more fonts if you download it from somewhere, and you always also have the Adobe fonts here. Custom icons, same thing, so you can download the font awesome icons, and you can add other icons as well if you download them from a website. Preset for the colors, you have local and global. So global, I guess, will be oops, upgrade to Pro. So I think I forgot to enter my license. Let me do that. Sorry, not there. So I need to enter my license, and I think I skipped it. It was probably here. Here we go. So I'm going to post that and enter my license key. Okay, so sorry about that. That's because when I resetted my site, and I did that with WP Reset, I don't know why when I deactivated WP Reset, it crashed the site. And it's not because of it. I guess that Zioin installed some custom tables that I had deleted. So that's probably why I had to reset back everything and then reinstall Zioin Builder. So that's why those things are not set. So global, as you saw, it requires a Pro version. So that means that it's probably global to all your sites. While local, in my mind, is local to just that site. Not a page, but a site. So I'm going to stick to local for now, and I'm going to add all my colors that I have already defined. So let's go with this one. Enter, I guess. No. Okay, add another color. Looks like we need to click on add color. E4 AD22. AC50B3. F6, F6, F6. CCC. and 2A to A to B. Oops, okay, added twice anyway. So that's about it for the colors. You also have gradients there that I won't need. Permissions is for the role, management, templates, and blocks. You can create both of them from there. In the tools, you can regenerate files. If you use to Elementor, you'll know what it does. Sync library as well. And you can replace URL. So do two tools that we also have in Elementor. System information, and of course the license. So theme builder here, if you want to build the theme, this is where you will want to go for header and footer and so on. Now let me go back to this here. So I don't have any theme right now because I have reset everything. So let's add the default 2021. That's probably the one that I hate the most, to be quite honest. But destination folder already exists. Okay, it's still present, but it was not activated. Anyway, I'm gonna add another one because I just thought that Zioin Builder doesn't have a lot of options. As you can see, we do have the colors and so on, but what about the width of the page? What about different things? What about the fonts, the custom fonts for example, the H1 and the body and so on? We don't have any options for that. Neither here or in the builder itself. Of course, in the builder, we can set it for a specific heading, but not overall heading. Just like we did, for example, for the Zioin Builder. So it really, Bricks Builder. So what it really does, it takes what your theme offers. So since it's based on your theme, it's better to choose a theme that has all the options that you need. So I'm gonna add a different one. So let's add a new one and go with maybe, I don't know, okay, now it works. Maybe if I go to popular, I usually use Astra. Cadence is a pretty popular one as well. LO is pretty basic one, made for Elementor usually. So let's go, since it's the first one, let's go with Astra. So I'm gonna install that one. And of course, I'm used to Astra Pro, so pardon me if sometimes I expect to see some features and I don't see them. So if I go into the customizer, global typography here, so I hope that all the typography is there. So if I set that to be railway, that's working. Size was 18 for most of the text, and then we add the headings. So hope I have all the headings. So family will be the same. Weight, of course, will be usually let's say bold, and we have uppercase for all the well, if that is bold, that's not really bold, so let's use extra bold. It doesn't change a lot of things here, but anyway, let's stick with bold then. I'll go with 36 for the H1. We don't have the colors right here, so it was 18 for the H2, and we didn't set the others. Let me go back with the colors here. So the text color, I don't have as much functionality here. So the text was pretty close to that, 32, 32, 33. The theme color, I guess, is the general one, so that's my primary color, which was also the same one. So let me put that like that just to make sure I don't have any surprises. Links color, didn't set them from memory, but since we're there, let's put them my secondary color, which is a E4 AD 2022. Might be a little bit strange here though, but anyway. Heading color, not always the same. So if you have the pro version, we have way more options here for each of them, but let's leave it like that for now. And I should have switched maybe Cadence. I think by default even the free version has more options than that. So let me just go with Cadence, I think. Like I said, I'm used with the Pro version of Astra, and Astra has almost the same thing as Cadence. But the free version, I think that Cadence still has way more options. So let me go to do that. Let's activate that one to see if I customize. So the layout here, 1200. Didn't see that in the Astra, but I think I was just not there yet. Sidebar, we don't have any sidebar, so sidebar width, okay, we don't specify any. Should be fine if I don't specify. Colors. So I always found strange the palette color in Astra. So this is the accent color. Well. I think I'll have to E480 2022. And that is the other accent out. Let me put that other color AC50B3. And the text color, strong text, strongest text, medium, subtle background. Wow. I have never understood the way that it thinks about that, to be honest. Let's go with the medium text, and of course the background, white, off-white, light background will be white. So I might have to create another palette color somewhere, honestly. But let's go with that for now. And typography, that's where I want. So let's go with railway. Well, regular for regular text, and I think it was 18 for the size. Family will be the same. We just have family here, so H1 it's going to be yeah, at least 700. It's going to be 36. This one will be wide, but let's put that to all cap, and let's do the same thing here. It's going to be 18 from memory, and all caps. All right, let's go with that, and of course we'll make some changes along the way on specific pages. All right, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. So let's go back to my Bricks Builder. So I've created a new page, called it Lending. Now I'm going to set my content. So I'm going to start with that page here. So that hero section with some text here, the logo, button, and a background image. So let's go with that. So Bricks has changed from the first version when it was released. Now you have container and not section with columns. But if you do want to have, and container is simply div, by the way, but if you do want to have columns and sections and so on, you can click on the layout right there on the container button, and that allows you to have inner container. So for example, if I say 2, it's like a section with 2 columns, a row with 2 columns, and you can already have margin or padding. So let me put some padding on each side, let's say, because if you don't, it will not put any. So in smaller screen it's going to be a bit strange, so let's put some padding here. And the direction is going to be the default one, which is the horizontal one. So let's not put anything, and let's insert the container. So you see I have a container with 2 inside container. So that is in fact your row, and those would be your 2 columns. So instead of that though, I'm going to rename it hero, and these are my 2 columns. And you see they're one on top of each other. So sometimes I still have to to familiarize myself with that. With the flex, that is the flex framework. So let's go with horizontal here to have my 2 columns. I'm going to go into styles here, and I'm going to add my background image. So select image, that's the background image. I should use some alt text and so on for accessibility purpose, but I won't take the time to do it for now. All right, so here's my background image. Let me see. Width. Okay, I'm not gonna do that right there. All right, so let me just add my first element to that, which is the logo. So I'm going to switch to elements here. I'm going to add an image. So it's a drag and drop builder, by the way. So we click on the element that we want to change. So that's my logo here. Let's click on insert. I'm going to have a padding top. Well, I'm going to switch back to my arrow here, and I'm going to have a padding top on that one. So let's go to, was it layout? Yeah, I can switch it there. So 120 pixels at the top, and might change, but 104 at the bottom. Let's say for now. You see that it doesn't take the full width, by the way, as you can see, and if I do preview mode, so it's kind of boxed. So I'm going to change that. I want to have the full width. So there was a couple of ways to do that. So let me just go back to that quickly. If I do stretch, here we go. Align container stretch, that works. And I think there was more than one way. There was a full width somewhere. I'm not thinking about the 100% here, and doesn't do the same thing. But anyway. Might have changed or mixed with another one, but let's keep it like that. The align container stretch will work exactly as intended, hopefully. So we'll see when my logo is there. So select my logo. Thought I had done it, but anyway. All right, so okay, this takes the entire width, which I do not want. So my content must not be that wide. So let's go with a width of 860. And of course, if I do my my automatic margin here, I can do it like that. By the way, it's going to be centered, but it's not exactly what I want. So mix with what I've done previously. Sorry about that. Usually, like I said, the first time that I used brick, it was using the traditional row with columns with a section. So looks like here the container doesn't behave exactly the same way. If I stretch it for the image, it's gonna work, but that's not what I want. So I just want the background to go all the way, not everything else. So inner container here, but I don't have a width. Let me just find that. I'm gonna post a video so that you don't watch me searching for that. So sorry about that, but I had to redo it a little bit differently. I changed my arrow to be like a section. And as you can see, it has an orange border, by the way, so it still recognizes that as a section, even though it's just a container right now. And they created the container to be more like the concept of Oxygen Builder. So I think they wanted to please or to appeal Oxygen users, but it made that a little bit more confusing for people coming from other backgrounds. Fortunately, I had a little background with Oxygen, so that helped me with the Flexbox and so on. But still. So my second container is now called a row, and I have my container inside of that, which is my column, in fact. And that one, well, since I won't have two different, I don't really need two different columns because the second column, in fact, is empty. So I really need only two columns when we are using 2 columns in our builder, like Elementor, things like that. Because if I can restrict the size here, I don't really need 2 columns. And I think I'm going to simply get rid of one of those. So this one as the width. So let me put my image there and get rid of this one. Don't need that one. So that's my row. The other one will be my column, but since I have only one, don't really need it. And I'm going to put my image there. And even here, my width that I have here is in fact based on, maybe I'm going to put another container later on, I'll see. Because that's based on 2 column layout. So, and if I reduce that, it's going to be centered, and I don't want that to be centered. That's why I'm hesitating to say whether I'm going to change it or not. Because I will have to change my margins and so on if I do that. So anyway, I'm going to continue with that and see what I'll do later on. Alright, so my logo here will have a bottom margin. So let's go with the I'm with the image right now. Okay, here is my margin. Sorry, missed it. 50 pixels of margin on the bottom. Then I have my title. So let's go with a heading here. And here's my heading. Let's go to content. Be fit, be strong. This is an H1, not an H3, so it goes automatically white. It's not bold enough though, so I'm gonna go here and set that to be bolder. So let's set the font weight to be, I don't know, 900, let's say. Okay, closer to what I want. A margin bottom of 10 in this case, but it depends, of course. These are numbers based on Elementor, by the way, so they all have different default padding and margin, so might change those numbers later on. Then I'm gonna add some text below that. Let me just copy and paste the text from the other side. So here's the content. Just want to make sure that it doesn't copy any formatting. Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to change the typography here again. Of course, the color will be white in this particular case, and this is where I want to have a specific width, so I can do that just for the text. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that just for the text instead of putting another container. This is where I was hesitating. So let's go with the layout here, and let's say I want to have something like, if I want to be close to what we add on the other one, it's gonna be probably something close to 360 or 380 maybe. Yeah, that's about that. Okay, here we go. So no need for second column because of that. Just need to change that here. So let me now add another. Do I have specific margin? Yeah, margin bottom here of 50. And now let me add my other text. I think it was a heading again, though it's really not the same size. I'm going to leave that to, probably heading 2 right now. Well, heading 3 by default. Let's put a heading 2. I'm going to say plan starting at $39. Plans starting at $39. We'll switch that to be, of course, white. And Lens, it's an H2, white, 18 pixels, I think was the default one, so should be the same size if I specify it or not. That's about it. And it's going to be, I forgot to specify the width, but I think it's probably like that. Okay, so let me go back. I don't know why, but I thought that I had set all my headings to be 900, but it's not the case. So let me put that there so I won't have to do this each and every time. All right, so now if I get rid of that, it stays bold. All right, that one should be as well. So you can click on the X in there or simply remove that CSS that you added like that. Sometimes you can do that for an entire section at the same time. Great. So let me put my button. So sign up now, my little button here. So just below that. And since I didn't set my button globally, I'm gonna have to do it here. So sign up now. Style. It's taking the primary, secondary. Well, this is not where I set the colors, so let's remove that. Well, let's keep that primary, but I'm gonna change the colors anyway. So background color, whoops, not an image, sorry, I'm trying to go fast. Background color will be my kind of a purple or dark rose here. So typography, my text will be white. It's going to be, let me see, I think it's still 18 pixels, yes, 700. So weight 700, all caps, so uppercase, and I add the padding on each side. So let me go with the padding here. So it was 1580, but looks like it makes no sense with the way that it works right now. So to be something closer to what I have there, I would say probably something like 5, maybe still 80 though. Yeah, that's more like it. And I need some space at the top, so maybe I forgot to put one after the other one, but let's say like that. This is pretty close to what I have. And I need to have my overcolor, so this is where I need to have the overstyle here. And I'm going to change the background color here for my golden color. And this way I have an overcolor like that. Alright, so this is how I do that. You can preview, by the way, right there. And if you really want to be in its own window, then you can view in the front end. And that's the real one. So as you can see here now, we have some troubles. Looks like it's not the same thing. So let me see what's going on here. Is it taking my landing here? Usually it works fine. Don't know what's going on here. The typography that I've changed here. All my headings are uppercase 900. This one is 36 white. This one is 18, and we don't specify any color because we change it. And the body text is right away. Let me see, should I put font family as right away as well, maybe? Well, now it's way darker. Here it's perfectly fine. And if I do that on the front end, it has some trouble. It's really strange. It usually don't do that, and I don't know what to say here, to be quite honest. It's the first time that it does that, so I don't know what's the issue here. Of course, I can set everything probably directly here, so it wouldn't do that. But that's a shame, and that's strange. Let me put it like that, for example. And now, wow. Okay. Looks like I really need to put everything back. That's really strange. Don't know what's going on here. So looks like I need to put the style on each and every element, but that's not how it usually works. So that's really, really, really strange. Let's say font size will be 815. What's missing? Wow. I really don't know what's going on here. Honestly, usually it doesn't do that. So really don't know what's going on here. Then I have to do it twice. So it's pretty much that here. I think it's not exactly the same size. Yeah, it's not at all the same size. So I think it was 18. So don't know what's going on here. That's really strange. Looks like the theme, well, not the theme overrides, because the theme is bricks. So we'll have to double check that later on. Usually doesn't do that, and hopefully it will not do that for the rest of the exercise. That's really strange, honestly. But anyway, let's do that now with the Zioin Builder. So let's create a page, add new page, landing page, publish that, and exit with Zioin Builder. Alright, so here, as you can see, we have the default design. So what I'm going to do is switch that to, in the page option here, I'm going to use, instead of the default layout, the full width I think I'm going to need to use. Here, no, still have the menu there, so blank canvas. A little bit like Elementor again. Alright, now I'm really starting from scratch. So this is the only page options that we have, by the way, the status, the title, and the page layout, and we have some custom CSS and JavaScript, but that's about it. So we don't have as much control as some other builders. Alright, so now let's add our first element. So click on that, we have different columns. Let's go with a 2 columns layout, because it's going to add the different element, and now it points to the first one, which is going to be for now and still an image, which is my logo. So in Zioin Builder, you need to double click on an element or click and then select the edit element. You also, if you want to have the structure, by the way, you also have the structure that is, no, sorry, these are the templates, the other one, just about it. So this is the 3 panel, so you have the 3 view, the section view, and the wireframe, like a little bit like DV Builder still has. So if you want to work with that, and you can move that to the right side, by the way, by clicking and dragging the panel. I'm going to leave it like that for now. And honestly, sometimes it's pretty hard, just like in Elementor, to select things, so I might keep that open. Alright, so let's change my image from the media library. Let's open that. Let's add that. So let me move to the section here. And again, even double clicking or anything like that, I really need to click on edit. This is what is annoying with Zioin Builder, the first thing. I cannot set the global width, by the way, so I need to set it here. So I'm gonna set that to be 1200. So that's the overall width, but then I'm going to, when I go to styling, you see you can style the wrapper, so the overall div or the inner content. So I'm gonna go with the wrapper for the background. I'm gonna set an image, which is that one again. All right, you can position that by moving the little dot, so that's great. But for now, let's keep it like that. And by the way, we're going to use the background size. Here we go. Cover. Forgot to do that for the other one, but I think it's the default anyway. So for the background here, seems to be the default. Yeah, default is set to cover. All right, so now I need to have my padding here and the wrapper. The padding top was size and spacing here. So padding top was 120 and bottom 104 from memory. Okay, position center. The overall width of the box should be, and I don't know if that will work, 816, like that. Okay, that works fine. Okay. Now my logo. Again, I can select it like you see here by clicking on element, and it does select that in the panel here, but still doesn't show the options for that element here. And I can always, that's something that I forget, I can always go there and select the right thing here. Use the button here and edit or here, but it's true it might be a little bit faster to go from there as well. Alright, so let's put on the image or the wrapper one or the other. You see that we always have, and that tells me, by the way, that even though they say it's really light, that tells me that if I have a wrapper around my image, that means that I have at least one div, which is not necessarily a good thing in the for people that really are looking for the least amount of code possible. It does add a div for nothing in a certain way. So anyway, let's go with that. And I'm going to set the bottom margin to 50. All right, now advanced is where you put the ID and so on. Now let me add another element. So I need to go there and click under it to add a new element. This time it's going to be a heading. So heading is not showing here. That's strange. So I still need to go with my element like that. I can always click here and change things here. Honestly, I found out that when we change the color here, for example, it's going to put inline code, which is bad, really bad. It's really hard to change after that. Sometimes we try to change the color and it doesn't want to do that. Hopefully they have fixed that with over time. I might try to see if it has been fixed, but and here the global colors that we have set, by the way, don't appear in that panel. Oh, and that's really shit. Sorry, but that's one thing that I really don't understand. Let me check. Let me if I can undo that. You see here my text. I select it. I change the color. Let's say here, and I start typing. You see my text that is there, and when I type, it does just the first one, and if I continue on typing, it edits my text. Wow, that's strange. So if I want to type a color, I need to do it like that. Well, go back to X, please. And I need to type my 0, then click again, 0, then click again, 0. That's completely stupid. And by the way, in this particular case, it was F for white. And I need to change all of that like that. Makes absolutely no sense. And doesn't seem now that it takes it. Really a pain, as you can see, working. And now, okay, select it. My bar just disappears. What's going on? So it's really a pain to work in the text here. I really like the styling panel usually, but for something like that, I don't understand how it works at all. And now I don't know why I have something here. Let's remove that. I had an heading. Alright, so let's go and just try to change the text here. So, be fit, be strong, first of all. And let's try to change the color, but it really changed the wrapper. So, again, if it has taken that color instead, it will not work. Now I have my global color, my local and global colors. And as you can see, I'm supposed to have more color than that, so I need to click on those 3 little dots. And hopefully, well, still missing some colors. That's strange. That's strange. Another strange thing. So, did it add it? No. We're back to that one. And I don't even know how to delete a color, by the way, from that panel. I think I don't have any choice than to go back to my admin. So you can see, wow, some big bugs here. Yes, I don't know what happened with the Bricks Builder for the real preview. Don't know what happened there, but at worst, you know that if you set the styles directly in the element, it's going to take it anyway. So we'll need to investigate what happened from the global to the other one. But Zioin is really also has many bugs. So let me go back here, and it's not there. So why is it on the other place? But I did forget to add the white and black, so let me do that here. And add the white and how do I add it without adding another color? That's strange. Anyway, let's refresh that page and cross our fingers. Okay, and this is many clicks, by the way, to do something. Here we go. Now it's at the beginning instead, but anyway, it's there. Phew. Okay. Margin button 10. And now let's go with the other text. Sorry, didn't want to close that, but anyway. Text. Just simple text. Let's go with text here that I still had in my pasteboard. Again, we're changing the container, which I don't really like, but anyway, that's how we do that. 18 pixel is probably the right size. Yeah, and hopefully this time it does it the right way. You can remove it like that. Line height of 24. Maybe this is optional, but anyway, let's see. Yeah, okay. And we have the margin bottom of 50 again for the next step. After that, we add plans starting at $39. So that's true, that was a heading. It's H2. Let's turn that into white again, and that's about it for now. Hoping that it's gonna be all right. Didn't set anything, but depending on, I'm gonna see. Well, it doesn't seem to have any more space at the bottom as opposed to Elementor, so that's why I didn't put any margin below. But let's do a 20 I think that I did on the other one, and let's add our button. So sign up now. Button type, normal shape, normal, small, that's okay. Button style, so let's go directly with the button style. Background color, that would be the background color. Typography, well, it's already white, so let's keep it like that. Let's put it uppercase. Let's change the font weight to 900. And I'm gonna see if the padding is the right one this time. So let's put 15, and then I think it was 180 on each side. That's a lot. Wow, it's not what I want right now. That's pretty clear. And it was 80, by the way, not 180. I'm not sure it will make a difference. Yes, it does. Okay, that's okay. Now for my over color, this is where we choose the mode. So default, then hover, and I'm going to change the background color simply here for that one. So now when we mouse over, we're going to have that color. All right, so it's done. We can always drag, by the way, for spacing and so on, as well as in the Bricks Builder as well. So let me show a little preview, view post, and this is what it looks like. So at least this one visually is the same, so don't know what happened with the other one. And let's go with the next section. So the next section and the others will be pretty straightforward. We have a start training today, a title with 3 columns, image, text, and the title here. So this is the one that we're going to build right now. We're going to go section by section. So this is my section. I'm going to add another one below it. But as you can see, it seems to still be inside. So it looks like I'm going to have to move that to be outside of it. Here we go. Now we are outside. And that will be, let's say, start training today. We don't have to rename those, but it's always a good idea to do so. Same thing in Zioin, by the way. I could do that as well. Okay, and same problem here. If I put a background color on that one, whoops, background color, sorry. You see, it takes the width of that. So let me just go back here just to make sure that I set everything the right way. Layout is wide, it's not box, so that's pretty strange. If I set it to wide, that I have maximum. Container width is 1200. and I don't really have the choice here. That's really how I should do that, because of course if I need to have a maximum width for the container. So the other one add the inner box and the outer box. This one doesn't have. So though we say wide, it's really box in fact. That's a little bit strange. That's it like that. I think that's what we need to do. And maybe not set any width here. Oh no, if I do that, it's going to be another one by default. Let's say, if I say 100, then no, it's going to take the box width by default. That is pretty strange. View height, no. So it's really strange. It's working this way now, but let's keep it like that, and let's say wide, though I need to extend that for it to work correctly. So let me go back to that one here. Layout, it's gonna be 100. Okay, so I'll need to have a container inside of it because of that, surely, and I can do it that way. That container has a different width, but I need to set that to be auto on each side if I want it to be centered. Here we go. All right. So start training today. Let's add the heading. Start training today. That will be in H2. And of course, it's going to be centered. And it's going to be in white. So let's go with the typography here. Text color white. Of course, we need to have some space at the top and bottom. So 60 and 40. That will be on my, since it's padding, it's going to be on my container here. So 60 top. 40, oops, 40 instead. On the bottom. Alright, and I could drag, like I said, I could have dragged here. And if we hold the control key, or I don't remember which one, we can do that on the, doesn't seem to work here. We need to lock it in this case, okay. It's lock and unlock in this builder, mixed with another one. All right. So titles are bigger than 18, so 18 was the regular one, so let me change that overall so I don't have to change that every time. Hopefully it's gonna take it this time. H2 then will be 24 because I don't want to change that if and every time. So that's the real size. And it's too bold, honestly. So I think that 900 is too much. It's going to be more 700, yeah. All right, so changes everywhere at the same time, and hopefully it's going to work. This one has that set on it, so even if it's an H2. All right, so let's add 3 columns now. So just below that one, we're going to add that like that. And it's going to add a container again. Let me try to do that differently. If I drag and drop, if I insert a container, I guess it's going to insert it after. So let me see. But let's go like that. Direction is going to be like that. Yeah, that's what I thought. But let's move it inside. Here we go. It does work. If we did that like that, just one more step. This one, let's put some space below it. Let's go with, I don't know, 20. More than that. Let's say 40. All right. Now, in each of those, we're going to add a new element. If I click on the plus, it's going to be always a container, so that's not what I want. And I think we do have, let me just check to make sure. We have an icon box. Do we have an image box? No, just image alone. If I say icon box, what does it look like? Can we change the icon to be an image? No. Okay, so there's no image box, and we cannot use an image instead of the icon for an icon box, so I'm gonna have to do that manually. Not container, but delete the element itself. So I will need to add image, text, and, well, image, heading, and text. So let's do it like that then. Stretch will take the entire space, which is not what I want. So my image will be centered. I'm gonna have, well, let's say, didn't count it, but let's say 20 pixels at the bottom. Maybe more, 30. Then I'm gonna add the heading. Going to be an H2. This one's going to be centered as well. I think it's better than not bigger, sorry. And that's, it's not an H2, that's true. It's an H3, and we didn't set the H3. So let me go back and do that. H3 are 18 pixels. And let's keep it like that. That's okay. And let's go back and set that to be an H3. Here we go. And then we have some lorem ipsum text, some placeholder text. So this text will be centered line. Okay, so the container doesn't take it this time. We need to do that probably right there directly. Here we go. Typography, color, white. Color of the heading is white as well. Maybe add a little bit of margin to the bottom. Let's say And all right. Now we can resize, as you can see, percentage. We can drag for the height and the width. There's no easy way to duplicate this entire editing, not editing, but container here, sorry. From this interface here, let's see if we can do that from here, and we can. So I think the easiest way will be to duplicate that a couple of times and get rid of those two extra columns. Oops, looks like we only have twice. Okay. Now the image seems to be a bug here. The image is not in the right place. Though it is right here. So let me just refresh the page. Here we go. Okay. Oh, and guess what? When I refresh the page, it doesn't take the formatting, the global formatting. So, like I said, I've reset everything. So maybe there's something that doesn't just work as expected because of that. So, alright, guys, I made a mistake. I needed to change all the things here, and even then, I think you saw it. When I refreshed here, the title was not alright. And I realized that I've made a mistake. First of all, I honestly scrapped everything, started from scratch, reinstalled Bricks, because I assumed that maybe when I resetted the site, something went wrong. And it was not that. My big surprise, it was still doing the same problems. And I found out, went a little bit too fast, and it's my mistake. When you create a theme style here, where you set all the elements that you want to be applied everywhere, it does work. But I had forgotten to, in the conditions, I have passed quickly on that. And you had set conditions to apply your themes to your entire site or certain areas. And I forgot to read that. And I went fast. So that means that, as you can see, it doesn't apply those styles. So the only thing that it applies is what you do on a specific element. Now, if I go back there and I apply that to my entire site, or it could be just the front page because it's a landing page in this case, but let's put it on the entire site. Now suddenly it applies that everywhere. And this was my problem. This is why Bricks was not working the right way. So if you have listened to this video so far, my apologies. No problem on Bricks. No issue on Bricks. Didn't know. Like I said, it was the first time when I did my preview here was working fine, but when I did that like that, it was not. It's absolutely my mistake that I forgot to set the conditions. All right. Now that is set, and my conditions for the landing, this is the one that I created, is applied everywhere. Now everything is fine automatically. All right. Now I need to still insert my container here. So I'm going to do that like that. Insert my 3 columns. And I already did that part, so I'm going to pause the video where I had my 3 columns and everything. So gonna pause that and do it and come back with the rest after that. Alright, so I think that's just where I left. So let's change the images here. And by the way, the text I could double click and change it here. Training, whoops, ebooks, and videos. There we go. That image here, change it for the dumbbells and resistance training. Here we go. Done. That's how it looks like on the, oops, did it save it? I think it didn't. Refresh the page. Here we go. Okay. Now let's do the same thing with the Zioin Builder. Alright, so a new section after that section. And inside of it, we're going to have, first of all, a heading. So now let's adjust that one. We have 60 pixels on top and 40 at the bottom. We have a background color. So let's select the right element. We have a background color of, oh, by the way, I see that it's always 1120 here. So I will always have probably to change that for 1200, because by default it's not the same, and there's no way to change that, because even if I said it would inherit from the main theme, this is something that is not inherited. So you saw that I had to, if you remember, I did change it here in my cadence. General layout here, it's 1200, but it didn't use it. So this is one of the things that looks like, oops, sorry, it didn't take into consideration. So I will have probably to change that every time. So a little bug here again. All right, let's change background color to be that color here. And the text here should be start training today. It's an H2, centered, seems to be the right thing, the right size. Let's just change the color. Sorry, all right. Let's put some spacing below it. From memory it was 30 pixels for the other one, but might be different here from what I can see. All right, so after that we're going to insert a 3-column layout. In the first column, do we have an image box or something like that? We do have an image box, so it could be hopefully easier. Let's see. What are the settings? Image on the left, on the top, bingo. So looks like it's going to be easier using an image box in this case. Let's just add the image, align everything to center. Let's change the text here, train at your own time. The simple text here is going to be our lorem ipsum text. Alright, so what do we need to do? HTML tag for that, that's H3, that's perfect. So the wrapper is, everything is alright there. Let's try, if I change the text to white here, will it do that for everything inside of it or not? No, just the text. So I won't put it on the text then, since I have to do it in 2 places anyway. So let's put that on the title itself. And this title is not for any reason all caps, let's put it that way. And then the text description is the element. Let's set that to white, and here we go. Now the only thing, not sure it's the right size though here. Let's see. It's supposed to be 18 for the typography, and not the right place, I think. Font size. Let me go back to the title style. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. I think it was a little bit too big. Now, made a mistake here, I think, so let's save that. And in the customizer, I think I didn't change the headings. So general typography, I made the same mistake as I did for the other one. This should be 24. This is my mistake, nothing to do with Zioin Builder. This should be 18. Here we go. So now it will take the right size if I don't change it, of course. So let me just change that. Wrapper, whoops. Whoops. Oh man. What did I change by mistake? And that's really strange. If I make a mistake here, I cannot even go back. Start training today. You see, I undid and it scrapped everything. This is an H2. The only thing that I should have to change is the color, and I have to redo everything. That's a shame. Font size. Let's save that and refresh because I think it doesn't take the customizer settings. Here we go. Now it's better, and I'm gonna put some spacing here. Let's see, 30. All right. Okay, now let's go with the image box and duplicate that twice, and let's move that each in their own column. Here we go. Let's edit that one to change the image and text. So turning ebooks and videos. And then for that one, and that's what is annoying, we must not forget to always click on the edit element, or we will change the other one if we think that just by clicking it's enough. And it might seem a lot faster, but that's simply because I don't have to repeat everything that I've done the first time. So it's not necessarily faster. In this particular case, a little bit, maybe because, of course, I was able to use an image box. So it's faster to duplicate. But beside that, all the rest is not necessarily faster than what I do in bricks. Just to make things clear. All right, section is done. If I refresh, here we go. That's what it looks like. Now let's go with the other section, which is the featured classes. This one is a lot harder to do because we have kind of two column layout here with a border and some text inside of it. So we'll have to work with nested container and things like that. So let's work with that. And by the way, yes, the Bricks Builder takes a little bit more to grasp with the container thing. They changed that. It's it could be a good idea or a bad idea. Like I said, people that are more used with things like a Breezy maybe and Elementor and so on will have a hard time figure out the container thing. People coming from Oxygen will really like that. But again, it's just a matter of getting used to it in a certain way. And it can be a lot better because there's less code, less nesting. We have way more control over just one container. This is one thing that I like about Thrive Architect. They have a container element and we can resize it as we want. Like I did here, for example. We can resize that. I could resize that as well, by the way, the container here. Like I said, it's just that I don't want that to be centered. But let's say if I leave it, if I say center like that, I didn't play with that, but I diminish the width. so that it's about the same width as what we need, which is about that. Let's say we had, I think it was 380, but now 80 would not be enough. Yeah, it would, but still prefer maybe to put 400, sorry, just to make sure. The problem is now it's center and we must have 2 columns. It must be more to the right. So positioning here might have to go way to the left. So let's say I could change that here, relative left, and I would say, I don't know, minus not 3 but 200, and here we go. This is one thing that we can do, and of course we will have to change that based on the device here. So for example here it could be instead I don't know, minus 100 maybe, and like that, and sometimes up to some point probably 0 if we want that to be centered. Or I could simply say well, not absolute, but get rid of something else like the width here. Could be, for example, the entire width maybe, sorry. So didn't want to go into the let me put that back to 0 here, that's why, or maybe add a little bit more to indent it. That's why I didn't want to go inside the mobile thing. But as you can see, this is still pretty easy to change. Maybe here for the image background I would have to move it a little. So looks like we need to add an image for that too, in order to be able to move it. Strange, because it's the same image and we don't have the power of Zioin on that regard to move that little dot here. So I would have to do that manually. Instead of cover, it would be let's say, well, there's no default, that's strange. Let's say custom, and what I really need is that to change here from top left to, let's say, center. And by the way, let's forget about that. This is what I wanted for the main one as well. I wanted that to be centered. I just left what was there, but I want that to be centered. So when we go on a smaller screen, it's still centered like that. This is what I wanted. So nothing to play here, and like that, still good. Could remove the image entirely, for example, or can add an overlay maybe. Let's see if it's easy to put an overlay on that. Gradient overlay, apply to, let's say, overlay, add a color, and that was not that easy from memory, honestly. Okay, so I did add an overlay here, but I need to specify where do I need to put that, as you can see here. And it's not exactly what I want. So I think I need to really specify overlay here, and I need to specify the class, which is not necessarily that easy to do, but let's try. So this is the main, this is just the div. So breaks element, I could use that ID here, I guess. Oh no, we need to have a class selector. So no, the same name. So let's try that. Doesn't seem to work from here. If I apply that to background, doesn't seem to work either, but not sure that it does work in the background here. So let's still try that. Need to be in mobile view. Doesn't apply it. And I think it's one or the other. Not sure. Not sure, but it might be one or the other. And this is where that's tricky. We need to find the right class here. There we go. The wrapper is that one. Okay, that might be what I needed. Still not. Well, where's my color? My color's gone. Okay. So if I say overlay or background to that wrapper, now it seems to have applied it, but I think I forgot to change the opacity of that. So it does work. Not in the preview though, unfortunately. So I will have to do a couple of try and error. Here we go. I think that I would change that to be a dark color though instead. So it's not that obvious because it's really light, but I think it does work. Let's put that darker so we can really see the difference. You see now? So if I put that to 0.3 as it was, it's a lot more subtle. Here we go. But we still see it way really good. And only on mobiles. So anyway, let's go back there. And create the other section. So based on what I see right now, it's going to probably be a 3-hour video, a 2-hour video, sorry, more than 2-hour video. But anyway, let's add another one. And I think that, yeah, it did it, but it always added inside. My mistake. Let's get rid of those. Again, the first time that I did this exercise, it was with Bricks 1 or 1.1, and the container was not there yet, so not used to that container yet, exactly. So let me add it like that. Well, no, since I only want to have one row container, can I really add it after? Looks like it's gonna add it. Too hard to add it after, man. So if I just click, there we go. It is now on the right spot. And I'm gonna add one inside of it. This one is gonna be my featured class. Featured classes. This is my row. I'm gonna leave it as container. In this particular case though, I don't really need that, to be quite honest, because I don't have any background color. Yes, I do. I like gray. Okay, let's keep it like that then. So this one is going to be 100%. So the full width. And it's going to have a light gray background. So I think it was that one. So the difference is pretty subtle, but it's there. All right. Probably again the same 60 and 40 pixels, I guess. So let's go with that. 60 on the top and 40 at the bottom. Whoa. 40. All right. And this one needs to be content aligned centered. Here we go. Inside of it, we're gonna add our heading, and I could duplicate the heading by the way that we already have, but anyway, that's okay. So this heading is gonna be oops, not container. Come on. Sometimes it's easier that way. All right, so search settings. I am a featured class. Classes, it's an H2, not an H3. We want that to be centered, so I could, whoops, sorry. I could simply center that content, I guess. This is centered, but align content as well centered. I could have done that by going into editing and centering the text, but I'm trying to get use of the flex box model. All right, so this one is gonna have maybe a 30 pixel again, and underneath that I'm going to add another layout container like that. It's going to be, oops, it's going to be with 3 columns, so I'm going to delete the other one after. All right, I need that to be inside the other one, so let's move it. Here we go, exactly as I wanted it. And that's a 2-column layout, by the way. I don't know why I said that to 3. It's a 2-column layout. So this one, I'm going to change the percentage to be something like, I think it was 28 point, something like that. 28.28 or something like that. Featured class. Supposedly it's only 30 pixels here, don't know why, but anyway, not a big issue here because of the text, I guess. Title, maximum width of all of that, didn't set that, but looks like we have a maximum width here of 928 pixels. Didn't I put something here? Looks like I put it on the wrong one, so that's why. There we go. So let's put a 30 pixel here. So do we need to specify the gap here for that container? Content gap, maybe, just to make sure, set that to 0. Vertical align middle, that should be all right. Maybe like that, just to make sure. And margin 15, top and bottom for the entire box here. Yeah, so that's for the next box coming after. So let's do it like that. Here we go. Okay. Left column 28.448. So that's pretty much what I have here. 28.448. I'm not sure I need to be that precise, but anyway. These are the numbers from Elementor. Then we do that for those 2 exercises. Inside of that, it's going to be our little image. So let's do it like that. A little bit hard to put the image in it, honestly, but anyway. The first image is going to be that one. And then we have the other column with a heading inside of it. That heading is gonna be oops, not container, heading. Bikram Yoga. It's an H3, that's perfect. And I'm gonna add the other text before trying to change the spacing and so on. So that's another Lorem Ipsum text, maybe the same one as previously, but let's do a copy and paste just to make sure. Here we go. Alright, so now what I want that container to have a border around it, but not on the left side here. So let's go with border. Let's go with, I'm gonna link them, it's gonna be faster. A little 1 pixel solid, and it was the light gray. Even lighter than that. Well, no, this one, because of course we already have a light gray here. So all I need to do now is to unlink that and remove it from the left. No border there. Alright, so what does that look like? Pretty much what I want. Now of course I just need to put some spacing around everything. So in my container right there, I want to have some spacing here. So adding 0.30 on each side, but it's not 0.30 in this particular case because let's say 30 around. That's way too much. Let's say top 15 and bottom 15. Oops. And that's pretty much it. A little bit too much, so if I want that to be aligned, let's do that on both sides. What does that look like? Pretty much it, maybe just 1 pixel too much. And I think that when we preview it's not exactly the same thing, so let's save and make sure. Yeah, okay, let's zoom. Okay, there's a little bit of space here from what I see, but anyway, I could just put that margin to 0 or something like that just to make sure, and if it doesn't work, simply put the margin to -1. Could do that. Don't want to waste some time to this on this though. So let's move on. That's pretty much what I want. So what I'm gonna simply do is take this container, the URL container here, and duplicate that twice. So once, and often, as you have seen maybe when we did that for those, you're gonna lose the image. Not the case here, but if it's the case, the image still there, just not previewing. Maybe I don't know why exactly, maybe some memory or something like that. So just save and refresh when it does that. Alright, so change my image here, change my text here, hit max, same thing here, change my image to be the runners, and that text here, strength, bootcamp. Here we go, that section is done. So pretty much, if we compare this with what we have here, pretty much the same. Okay, now let's do the same section with Zioin Builder. So again, let's add a section after that one. Let's start with a 1-column one, and inside of it we're going to simply put heading first. Just as usual, Now that heading, not heading, but that section, sorry, will have again a 60, and it was 30 at the bottom, strangely. So here we go. The color of that little box here is, well, the width was 928 while I'm there. Background color, let's line just like that. Background color, inner content, background color here is for the overall width. So this is the right color. And now let's change the text itself. Featured class. Featured classes. Let's make sure we did that one because it's not an H1, it's an H2. Let's center that. Let's add some spacing here. Maybe another 30. There we go. Then let's add another a 2-column layout this time, but probably something around this. And the first one will have an image. All right, so before moving ahead, we have the column, by the way, the bootstrap type of columns here, where we say the overall width will be 12 columns. So how many of those columns? We can set it like that, or we can set it with percentage and everything in the styling. So we have the choice of one or the other. So let's say, for example, if I set that to auto, then I can come here instead and change. I don't really have to set it to auto, but if I don't want things to be one on top of the other, and I can say, for example, that this one is going to be 28 point, I don't remember, I think it was 448 or something like that. Yeah. And I'm not even sure it's going to take it or leave it like that, but anyway, you see I got a lot of spacing here also, so let's try to get rid of that. So what's going on here? Wrapper, let's put padding, everything to 0. Doesn't seem to be that. Don't think it's the margin. No. So that means it's simply not on the right place. So link style, image style. Maybe we have some spacing there instead. Not exactly. Column, I've already set that, I think. No, okay, so let's set it. Whoa. Okay. Here we go, we have one. We have one of the levels done by doing it here. Looks like the other things doesn't change anything, so let's go back to our image. It's not a requirement. Hey, come on. It doesn't want to take the image, so that's one of the examples where we better, maybe here, yeah, can change it. So let's also align the image, maybe. Come on. If I align it left. Okay, we still have some space. We'll see. So column, we have 3 columns here, so a little bit too much. This is the first one, a section, a column. Let's see the 3. We have way too many columns here. So this one, this is in fact the row or the inner column. And then we have the column here. So this is the one, this is that one. So that one has too many space. Too much space, sorry. Let's go with that. Don't know if it's margin or padding, but I expect that. Here we go. Got rid of that space here, which is not required, but prefer that. All right, my column here, let's go and set the width of that to be 24. It's already like that. Okay, so let's try to change the image. The first one is, I think, that one, no, that one here. All right, so full, blah, blah, blah. Inside column, no, this is not what I want. It's really inside, okay, element, not necessarily column. Heading there. And it's a little bit big. So let's exit that. Bikram yoga. That is going to be in H3, so let's smaller than that. We didn't set the H2 and H3 to be all caps. H2 is, H3 isn't. Let's change that here. If I don't want to change that everywhere. Well, it seems that I forgot to do that. Typography. So I'm not even sure that I did it for the other font family only. So here it would set that to be all caps. Yes, yes, and no. So here we go. This is all caps now. Gotta refresh to make sure that we have the right thing. And here we go. My Bikram yoga is like I wanted to. So let's insert a text after that. Again, I could paste my text here, but this one creates some problems, to say the least. So let's do it that way instead. I'm going to select the overall column. Let's add some border to it. So there we can set which one we set, but again, since it's for most of it anyway, let's do the CCC. And then I'm going to go back here and say 0 to remove the border on that side. Here we go. Now what I need to do is put that closer, so it seems to be the text here as a top margin by default. So let's remove that. If I just say 0, will that be enough? No, looks like we'll need to go into the negative and something like that, 11. If it's exactly the same thing, of course, when I view my post. And yeah, seems to be pretty good. I could of course put it closer and put some more space under instead. That would probably be closer to what we have in the overall, but it seems to automatically do it anyway, so that's good. Okay, now if I select that column here, That's the column that I want, I think. Let's duplicate that. Oh, I forgot to put my 15 pixel of margin top and bottom. I think I'm gonna do it here instead. 15, not 50. Okay, whoops. Looks like I didn't do that on the right one. This is the one that I want. Not necessarily an easy task, and I know it's a long video. We're past the 2-hour mark. 2 hours mark, but let's now duplicate that and duplicate again. Here we go. Change that image to the dumbbells. That text or that heading. Should I take a chance here? Hard to select. Sometimes I can double click, sometimes it's a lot harder, so that's why sometimes you don't see me select things like this. Strange. That's simply because I can simply double click on it. Alright, so here we go. Now we should have the same thing as the other page. So that section is done. Next section, a little bit more complicated. Meet the owner. We have an image here with the text on the side. We have a border with some spacing. So this one is a little bit more tricky. So let's go first with the bricks builder again. So I'm gonna add a new container. Let's close that. And I'm gonna add a new container. Oh, sorry, forgot when I just click on it. It just adds at the end. Always mix between the two. When we work with different tools like that, sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. Alright, so let's yeah, sometimes it has it at the wrong place. That's strange. Maybe I'm just not used to it. If I click on it, sometimes it seems to have it after, sometimes inside. Looks like when it's closed, it adds inside, and when it's open, it adds it after. Is that possible? Strange. Anyway, we'll have to check that more. Meet the owner. Anyway, so that one has a white background. And so because of the color of the background, I don't necessarily need to have another container nested like in the other cases. So I think I'm going to put everything directly inside of this one here this time. So padding 60-60. So 60 here. I could lock it. So this way it's going to do that. Since it's the same amount, it's going to do that top and bottom at the same time. Alright, so now content align center. I want to add my heading inside of it. So this is the meet the owner. It's an H2. I don't know what's an H3 by default. I would prefer an H2 since that's what we use most, just like in Elementor. But anyway, let's go with the flow. So center that. the title color will be title style color anyway. The text color will be that golden color, and just after that we have no specificity for that, but let's say again at 30 pixel so that we can have our elements. So let's go with a 3-column layout, though they won't have the same width everywhere. I think I'm gonna simply add it like that still. So 3-column, let's go with horizontal like that, and insert my container. Okay, so looks like there's plenty of space, don't need to have, don't need to have that like that. Might need to go, I guess I've put that on voluntarily. Here we go. Alright, so that is outside, that's why I need to put that inside. Okay, sorry, I should have kept it like that. Didn't realize it was outside. Okay, now first one as an image. So the image of the owner. So let's go like that. And this one is already aligned to the left, no spacing, so don't have to do what I will have to do with Zioin for sure. This one overall is 960 by the way, so let's go into the style layout and set that to 960 pixels. Max width. Alright, so now after that, column gap extended. I've set the column gap to be extended, which is again let's say something around that, I guess, but might change it anyway. Margin top of that it's 40s, and that's to make a space between those, so I'm just gonna add more space here simply. Come on, why do you want to play with me? Doesn't want to change that here. Here we go. So anyway, all right. No padding on each column, but that should be already be the case in Bricks Builder. So the width of that column should be, let's go in percentage as we usually go, 28%. So that puts a little space here. So that's why I might remove that gap. The second column is supposed to be 34, so let's do that in percent again. 34.6 according to that. And the last one, and again might change that later because those numbers are based on Elementor for previous exercise that I did a couple of years ago. So third column, 37.4%. So all right, so now the second column, we have a title here, so let's add a heading in the second column. That heading is simply the owner's name, which is Cecilia Newville. That's an H3, I suppose, but it's formatted as an H2, so I think I'm gonna put it like that. But it should be an H3, honestly, because it's a subtitle of the owner. So let's put it as an H3, and if you want that to be bigger, simply increase the size here. So in this particular case, if I wanted that to be the same size, it was 24. So after that, we have some text. Okay. Maybe it's a little bit big though, but let's see. Margin bottom here for this one. Let's put some margin bottom of 10 pixels. For that text here, padding right 10 pixels. So padding right, not sure. Padding right 10 pixel, not sure. I'm gonna keep it though. Okay, so didn't put anything here, but I'm pretty sure that the text is smaller than that. The overall text is pretty big. So probably I should have changed the overall text here. I think it's too big everywhere. And that's one easy thing to fix if we want to change it everywhere, as opposed to other. I just need to come here and lower that down to something like, I don't know, I think it was probably 15 pixels. Of course, changes make some problem here. So let's just make sure that we select the right one. Let's put some, let's say, padding here. So 15 seems to be the good number. Since they all have the same text, that makes it easier for us. Here we go. And now this is where things get more complicated, because we have here two elements side by side. Some will insert an inner section, inner columns, and it's not necessarily the best thing to do. So with the flex layout in bricks, and Zioin Builder should have something similar, we should be able to do that differently. So let's first insert the image. Could be an icon, but I want to have my own image, so let's keep it as an image. Don't think that the icon, we can select which one we want. So the image will be that little image here, which is 30 by 37, by the way. Let's keep that in mind. I'm gonna put a little bit of padding or margin to the top. I think it was 5. I was probably padding bottom. Didn't put any padding here, so let's put one. Let's say 10 maybe. Oops, not in the right place. Text. Here we go. Better that way. After that, we're going to add another text. And for now, they're side by side, one under the other, but we'll change that. I'm going to copy the text from the other page and paste it here. Okay, now I want those two elements to be side by side. So one easy way to do that is to insert a container and set the container to have a horizontal layout instead of vertical, one on top of the other. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Let's just insert another container here. Let's move that on top of those two elements and move those two elements. Okay, I cannot select both, but anyway, let's move those two elements inside of that container. Alright, now if I select my container and I've put the things, the direction horizontal like that, now you can see that they're one beside each other. Of course, kind of squish my image here, so let's change that to make sure that it takes the right space that it deserves. Let's say, well, it's more than 30 actually, because we want to have some spacing, but the image should be 30. Takes something else into account, so let's say 40, and I'm going to put some padding or margin on the right side to push the text a little bit. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more here. 45 is about the right size here, and that's cool. Alright, so for the third column, well, first of all, we have to add a border, so we can either add it to the right of that column or to the left of the third column. So one or the other should do the trick. Let's say if I select that one and add it to that one. I'm going to need to have some spacing though. But anyway, let's start first with that. Maybe add some padding to its right. Something like that maybe. And that way I will be able to add some spacing between the border and the content. So let's add a border to the right of that one, a solid one, and let's give it the that gray, the same as the other one, and that gives me my border. All right, now for the third column, we have two elements in it. We have the kind of quote here, and we have a text. This all text can be in the same one, and again we could try to have two columns and things like that, but let's try to go the same way that we did it that way here, which is simply to have elements aligned on the other way. So let's add one text here, which will be my quotes. So that will be a regular text, and of course inside of that I'm going to make sure that there's no formatting whatsoever. So this is my text, and of course that will be pretty big, so it's going to be in the typography, it's 72 pixels, and then I'm going to change the color of it to be that golden color. So let's leave it like that for now, and add the other text after that. I'm going to copy and paste the text from the other page. So I have some italic text here. Oops, some things that I don't want though. I want to keep that italic text, but not all the div that surrounds it. So let's do it like that. And of course I want to have a different paragraph, and here we go. Okay. Now for the style. I want those two elements to be side by side, so let's, whoops, sorry. Don't want to add another one, but let's select this container here. And again, if I do like previously, I put my elements one beside each other. That's the new look. So that's pretty close to what I want, and don't want to play with just pixel alignment and so on, so I think that's going to be okay for me. I just want to make sure that there's a little bit more space here, first of all, and also that this one goes higher. So just wanted to make sure that this is exactly what we see. So let's go with that. This text here, let's add some spacing on the right side and remove some margin on the top. So let's say, I don't know, maybe 15 pixel like that. And I think it's not exactly like that, so that's why I'm gonna have to try and error a little bit. Let's try it like that. Let's see how it looks like. So that's not bad here, but let's add more. Let's say -20 and 20. So that's pretty close, maybe a little bit more on the top. So maybe -25. But that's about it. Yeah, that seems good. Not exactly as the other one in terms of space. And you see, by the way, that, and this is what I will try to avoid, this container here goes beyond the space of the container here. So, so it doesn't respect my 960 pixel that I have set here. So let me try to see if I can change that. First of all, the gap here, I'm not sure that I really need that. So that will surely help. As you can see now, it has exactly what I want, except the space here that is not big enough. So let me see. All right, so that's about what I want. Just need to push that in that column here. So that container, I'm gonna add some left spacing here. So let's say padding, I'm gonna add, I don't know if 50 is too much. That's about it. Could put a little bit less maybe, because of this one has probably 30 instead, but I'm gonna leave it like that. Satisfied. And let's do the same thing for the Zioin Builder. So again, after this box here, I'm gonna add another one, this section, another section. And previously, by the way, when we were at the bottom, it was pretty hard to add another one, so they seem to have corrected that bug. So that's great. Okay, so let's add our editor first. And again, in that section, I'm gonna add, well, the section is gonna be 960, so (960) pixels. This text will be me, the owner. And it's going to be so clear. It's not the right thing that I have here, so it's going to be an H2. It's going to be a line to the center, and it's going to be different color as well. So the kind of golden color. I don't like having to always click on those little 3 dots to see all my colors. That's pretty strange. Without that, we only see the first row. But anyway, that is a little bit painful, to be honest. But oops, looks like I didn't change the right one. If I open that, let's go directly because I think I made some mistake here. So let's go again. That's the right thing. Moving from one to the other sometimes a little bit confusing. Usually I'm using padding here, so let's go with 60 padding, top and bottom. Alright, so now let's add a 3-column layout. So let's first of all add some spacing here. So 30 pixel, I said, from memory. And let's create a 3-column layout, though I know that I'm going to resize them. And the first one, it's going to be an image. So let's double click, choose that image. Might have to align it, no. Okay, and again, I want all the levels above it to have 0 padding. So I might have to do that a couple of times. Look here, I still have some spacing there, so let's put that to 0, and then we are all right. So okay, now that column is so that one will be from memory 28 or 30, yeah, 28%. So let's go with that here. We want that in percent. So 28%. Here we go. Second one should be 34%. .6 to be more precise, but anyway. And the third one here should be something like 37.4. Let's see if it fits. All right. Good. Now we have the image, and second column we have our H3, which is our heading, and that would be the title, or the name, sorry. Cecilia New Bill. This would be an H3, but we wanted it to be a little bit bigger, so let's change the typography to be 24 pixels. No, 18, sorry. No, 24. It was already 18. Then let's add the lorem ipsum text. There's surely some spacing here, but let's see first. Oops. I should have already some lorem ipsum here. There we go. And finally, I think it's a little bit big, but I would have to change that globally probably. But let's change it here. so that it doesn't take too much space. Here we go, 15 pixel. Then underneath that, I'm gonna add, should I add 2 containers? I'm gonna try to just add the elements like I did with the other one to see if it's possible. The image, that's the what I want, is the image. The image being pretty small. Let's maybe add some padding to the bottom of that. Well, let's do it manually like that. And then some text after that. Certified trainer. And again, if I put them side by side, the entire box will be side by side. So I will probably have to wrap that into a wrapper, a column in this case. So let's add a container, let's say. Though it seems to be the same thing, I'm sure that it won't have any other subcolumn or something like that. Okay, I need to open that to be able to move it inside of it. Here we go. So now that container, I'm gonna set that to be inline block. Could work maybe, but it's gonna be flex. So I'm gonna set that to be horizontal. Whoops. Do I have the right container? Just need to make sure. Yeah, I do. Looks like it influences everything around it, but maybe it's just because it moved up and down. All right, so oops, let me select that. All right, so it's too small again, just like previously. Image style, size, let's say if I set that to 30, it's not enough. So I'm gonna have to do like previously and set it manually, something like that. That's a little bit strange, but maybe it's me that doesn't understand everything yet. And here, when I add some margins to it, it kind of okay, did that on the text instead. So let's remove that then. Still too small. There we go, something like that. Let's see. Styling for that. Okay, we don't have any space, so I don't know where's that padding. Maybe it was not in the right place. Here we go. Okay, 14 pixel padding. Looks like I need to remove some top margin. That's pretty much it. Did I change the width of the columns? Don't remember. Suppose so, but just want to be sure. Yeah, okay. So we have maybe a little bit too much padding here. Styling, So I set that to, well, at least on the right side anyway, if it's not overall. There we go. Okay. Still on 3 lines though. Probably a little bit too big. So my overall text here is also too big, probably. But anyway, let's do that manually here. So if I can okay, I thought that there were some places here, but I don't remember what it is. Can we? Oof. Yeah. Gonna make the image a little bit smaller then. That's probably closer to the real size anyway. And finally, let's add back some left side spacing. And still not on the text. Here we go. Top margin. Okay, that's great. The spacing here is not exactly the same, so I'm wondering, yeah, I think the container here has some, probably because of this one though, has some padding automatically applied to it. So now still have some padding here, default padding, and that what makes it a little bit difficult to fit. All right, that second column here, sorry, this one. So did I set the width to this one? 24.6. Yes, I did. Okay. So I'm going to put some padding to the right because I want to push it so that we can have our border like we did previously. So maybe have a little bit more space here. So anyway, don't want to lose too much time. Let's simply go ahead and put a border on the right side this time. 1 pixel and come on, DCCC. Here we go. So we have our border and the third column. Let's add our text, our first text, which is just the quotes. Well, looks like for strange reason didn't keep the quotes. That's strange. Let me go get the quotes. So I don't want those though. Typography, font size 72, font color golden. And I surely need some spacing here as well. Well, this one is alone, so I can, well, let's add the other text first. Cecilia is user inspiration. And that part here would be in italicized. Here we go. So now we need to set that column here to be displayed alignment, horizontal alignment. Here we go. So let's put some margin on the right. Let's say 20. Maybe 20 on the side as well. Push it a little bit from that border. It's not equal on each side, so let's say 10. Right, that's pretty close to what I want. Let's take a look to see if the alignment is okay. Maybe I could put it a little bit higher, but the entire box should be higher, by the way. It looks like if there was some top margin or something like that, top padding. And I don't think it's the case, but anyway, that's probably the paragraph that does that. So probably I'll have to set that minus 20 or something like that. 20, 25. Well, that's pretty good. Let's leave it like that. Okay. Usually the next section about with pricing table, I usually skip it. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to skip it, but I did try, and we have pricing tables on Boat Builder that allows us to work with that as well. But it's almost 3 hours long, so I'm going to skip that part and go directly with the footer. So again, here in the builder, Zioin Builder, Bricks Builder this time. Let me just try to add that way. And this one really only needs one container, so I should have, there was no reason for me to actually do that way, but anyway. Can I put it outside of that? Or it's gonna be hard. Looks like sometimes the easiest way is to put it between two and then putting it back there. So copyright. Alright, so that one again, we'll need to set it to be the full width if we want to have the color take the entire width. I want to have a background color dark gray, so let's put it like that. That was darker than that. Probably this one. Let's add some text inside of it for the copyright. Oops, what's going on? There we go. Alright, so now my text. There goes my text. So the copyright 2021. And of course I need to have the copyright sign here. I'm going to switch to the text mode, which is in fact the HTML mode. And I'm going to add the HTML code here for that. So at copy semicolon, we'll have the copyright sign. Not at, sorry. ampersand. Long day. Okay, so I'm gonna set that to be center align. Strangely, it didn't take it this time, but that's okay. I'm gonna do it that way. There we go. Now let's set the text to be white. So typography, text color white, and add some spacing above and below. So let's add, I'm on the text, so it could be margin or padding, one or the other. So let's say 10 above and below, and a little bit more. Let's say, let's move up to 15. Here we go. So now that should do that. That should do it. Okay. Cool. Let's do the same thing here. Finish our project. So another one here. I'm gonna need some text. That text will be the copyright 221, and I'm going to edit that just to make sure that I can put the copyright sign and copy semicolon. There we go. That text will be centered. Doesn't change anything here as well. So let's go in styling. Typography, center. Text is going to be white, but I forgot to switch the section. So let's change the section first. The wrapper will have a background color that is the dark gray. And the text itself then will be white. Should be a little bit smaller, but anyway, again, same thing. Should change that everywhere. And let's put some margin or padding at the top. So if we do the same thing, it should be around 15 as well. And there we go. Refresh, and everything's done. So I hope this video was helpful to you in comparing both builder at the same time, Bricks Builder and Zioin Builder. So as a recap, Bricks Builder is for now for unlimited license, lifetime unlimited license at $149 directly on their website. So bricks.io, bricksbuilder.io, and you have the lunch special is still available. This is for limited time. It was there for a couple of months now, but at some point it said that once all the bugs are ironed out, he will stop the lifetime license. And by the way, he offers also a 30-day money-back guarantee that will start once the all the bugs are ironed out. So I don't know if it's going to be 1.5 or 2 or something like that, but you also have the ability to have the, oh, by the way, if it's just from one site, it's $59, but for 1,000 sites, sorry, I said unlimited, I think for 1,000 sites it's $149. As for the Zioin Builder right now on AppSumo. You can have that in the marketplace, like I said. So Zioin Builder for $99. And for $99, what you have is the unlimited lifetime license. So, thank you for listening and have a good day. Just another note before you go away. By the way, I know that a lot of people want to compare the speed of the website, and that's one of the reasons why I'm looking at builders like Bricks and Zioin Builder. By the way, I'm an Elementor fan personally, and I really like how it's built. I really like how easy it is to build websites with that. But there's one drawback that I do admit. It puts a lot of code, so the pages are a lot heavier. And with good optimization, we can have really good scoring, but out of the box, it's really heavy. So let's see how those two builders have performed. So for the first one, which is Bricks, I have a 98 out of the box. The only thing, we have 4 little optimization that I showed at the start included in Bricks. But as you can see, 98 point for Bricks Builder on a computer. Sorry, it's in French. And on mobile, I have 86, and that's pretty surprising because the first time that I did it, maybe I did something differently this time. I had at least 10 points more, 96 or something like that. So it was really the best. So I don't know if one of the few updates that have been since then, because I think it was version 1 or 1.1, now it's 1.3.1, something like that. So I don't know if the developer has introduced something that has weightened that a little bit, or I didn't optimize it. And from memory, I didn't optimize it the first time for the mobile either, by the way. So if I took the time to optimize my page for mobile devices, of course, I should have a better score than that. So let's be honest with that. For example, if I go here and change the image for a smaller one and things like that, probably I would have a better design. And by the way, as you can see, the design is horrible on mobile. So I would have to go and fix that, maybe in another video. This one is already pretty long. But anyway, so 86 is not satisfying for me. It should be 10 points more. Let's go with Zioin Builder. And that's the opposite. We have 97 here, and we have 91 for mobiles. And I think it was pretty much like that the first time, so no real improvement here. But the first time that I did some tests, computer was about the same, just like that, 98 and 97. But mobile was way higher for Bricks Builder than for Zioin Builder. So again, don't know if I did something differently or if they added something that has weighted the because the problem is the largest contentful pane here. So I don't know if something happened that has increased that a lot, or did it something, I don't know. But it used to be higher than Zioin, and now it's lower. So bottom line, they're pretty close one to each other, and way better than something like Elementor, probably as good as Oxygen, and even probably Gutenberg. So bottom line, good builder for that. Still have some bugs, but they are working really hard on that, so that's comforting. Some UI improvements here and there maybe, but overall these are not so bad builders. They're good builders, and they have high performance. So if you want the ease of something like Elementor with the performance of something like Oxygen or Gutenberg, these two builders might be a solution for you. Remember, Bricks is a theme, while Zioin Builder is a plugin. Thank you.